looks delicious. It's Trojan Dining Executive Chef Robert Lynn's Shrimp and Grits. So let's get right to what we do here on Cooking Trojan Style. Here's Robert to tell you how you can make this scrumptious dish at home.
I'm Robert Lynn, Executive Chef at Troy University, and today we're going to be making shrimp and grits. So everybody goes to the beach during the summertime. One of the most prevalent things you can find it at any seafood market anywhere is shrimp. It's really easy to make. It's a simple dish. You can do it from your condo. But also even here in Troy or in Montgomery or wherever you live, just about anywhere you go, you're going to be able to find shrimp. I mean, you may not be able to find pompano or snapper may not be in season, but shrimp is always pretty much readily available. We're going to be doing this a little differently than you've had at other places. So we're going to be doing it with a stone ground grit. So we talk a lot about using local stuff and farm to table. Well, these grits are from Oakview Farms, which is out of Wetumpka, and it's my friend Joe that owns this farm there. And so he gave those to me, and this is what I cook with at home. And it's a great product. They make their own oats, but I don't want to talk too much about that. But it's a little bit more coarse in texture than your standard grit. Because of that, it also takes a little bit longer. So these are not quick grits. These are going to take 20 to 25 minutes. So I've gone ahead and gotten them started. One quick thing to know whenever you're cooking grits, and this is whether you're cooking instant grits or quick grits or stone ground grits like these. The ratio is always going to be 4 to 1. So 4 parts liquid to 1 part grits. In this case, I'm using chicken stock, and what I'm going to do right at the end is I'm going to finish it with a little cream. So I'm going to get it to just about the right consistency. I want them, where I want them just a little bit more tender, but I'm going to finish it off with the cream. And what that's going to do is going to give it a nice velvety texture. So what we're going to do here with the shrimp, I've got my shrimp. We're going to take those. We're going to take some Cajun seasoning, Creole seasoning, whatever you got around. Give that a little toss. A little bit of salt. There's salt already in the Creole seasoning, so you don't want to use too much. A little dried thyme. We're going to coat those with a little olive oil. Give those a quick toss. So, I grew up eating this as a lot of people in the South do. My dad's got a house on the Bon Secours River, which is down between Gulf Shores and Foley. And, it's a place that's really well known for its oysters. They also do a lot of shrimp there. It's down near that Mobile Bay. And so we'd eat this all the time. I had a cast net, a little 4-foot cast net. And I'd cast off the pier all day. It'd take me all day to catch 12 shrimp. But eventually it happens. What else do you have to do when you're 12 years old, So in my grits, I've got, like I said, 4 parts chicken stock to 1 part of grits. I've seasoned it with a little salt and pepper. And those are getting close. Let those go a little bit more. Actually, you know what we're going to do? We're going to move them off to this other eye. We're going to let those keep working on low. And then I'm going to use this burner for my shrimp. So go ahead and crank that up, and that's too high. So to this, we're going to have just some garlic, some green onions, some bell pepper, tomato, a little white wine, and butter. Super simple. Some people put cream in with their shrimp and finish it that way, but I don't want to do that. I want to see the brightness in the vegetables and not have that diluted down by the cream. Also, especially if you're doing white grits. Now these are a yellow corn grit, but if you're doing white grits and then you've got something creamy on top of it, it's kind of white on white, and that doesn't work for me. So I want the fat in the cream. Fat helps sort of bind flavors together. I want that velvety texture that it gives and that richness, but I don't want white on white. It's not for me. So I've talked about this before, but when I cut an onion, I just leave the root in intact. I peel it back to where that part is still exposed, and then cut the knife through there, but just take away the dirt, you know? Joe's going to be happy I gave his farm a plug. Get me some more free grits out of that. He does have a really good product though. He supplies a lot of the restaurants up in Atlanta. He supplies some hotels in Montgomery. All right, so this is good and hot. It's actually a little too hot. Just finish up a little knife work here. We're gonna have just releasing some garlic. Run through that very quickly. Okay. Take the core out of the tomato. Nobody wants to eat that. We're just going to do a quick dice. That's enough. Check on our grits. Oh, they're looking great. Looking great. Just want to check the flavor. You know, you don't want to over season something. It's better to put a little salt in, check the flavor, put a little more if you need it. And they need it. All right, those are getting close. So I'm going to go ahead and add some heavy cream to that. Like I said, it's just right before they're done. They still have a little toothiness to them. They're still a little al dente. So we're going to add a little bit of cream, just enough to give us that richness and texture that we're looking for. Not so much that it's really going to change the appearance of the yellow grit, but okay, leave that working. Do a quick saute here. So we're going to start with our onions and garlic, red onions. To that we're going to add our shrimp. Hit this with a little wine. Now, when you're cooking, when you're sauteing, you want to use a dry white wine. You don't want to use something like a Moscato. I mean, that's too sweet. So today I'm using a Chardonnay. You could use a Pinot Grigio or you could use a Sauvignon Blanc. Sauvignon Blanc's a little more acidic, so if you're using a Sauvignon Blanc, you may want to avoid also putting, say, lemon juice or something in this. Or you want to cut back maybe on your tomato, anything that's going to add acid to it because, like I said, that's already pretty acidic. crank that up. So what I'm going to do here is I don't want to cook these shrimp like, you can overcook shrimp real easy, you know, then they get rubbery and I don't want that. So we're just going to cook them a little bit on each side. Then I'm going to take them out. I'm going to add the rest of my product over here, my green onions, tomatoes, and finish cooking that. And then when it's just about ready, when it's reduced down and the liquid's just about right, we're going to toss our shrimp back in just to bring them up to temp. That'll finish cooking them, and we'll be ready to go. So you can see how fast this is. I mean, it's almost done. This is a 5-minute job. You know, I mean, another 5 minutes for your knife work, if you want to put it that way. But, you know, you get your ingredients together, your mise en place, as the French call it, and, you know, the act itself doesn't take any time. You can do this while you're having a dinner party. You can be watching the game. People think you stepped away to, you know, go to the bathroom or something. All of a sudden, dinner's ready. Don't need a whole lot of cooking at this point. We're just, I had a spoon, there it is. So we're just, you know, softening up these tomatoes a little bit. We're concentrating the flavors. We're going to season it, a bit of salt, a bit of pepper, a little Worcestershire. Swirl that in. Okay, so now most of my liquid has evaporated back up. So I'm going to add the shrimp back to it. Bring those back up to temp. Then I'm going to swirl in a little bit of butter. And what that butter is going to do is it's going to give us this nice sauce consistency that some people get from adding the cream, but so I've cut the butter into nice small little pieces. What that does is it's more surface area, right? So it's, it allows the butter to dissolve without like melting and then breaking. So a little bit at a time. You're not changing the heat content of the pan to make it where one area is cold from adding a whole pile of butter at once. Also, it lets you put in just the right amount, you know? You want to put in just enough to give it that beautiful brown, velvety color and texture that we want. Beautiful. So we're plating up our shrimp and grits. This reminds me of the movie My Cousin Vinny. You know, so there's this guy and he's on the stand, and Pesci's, you know, grilling him, and he's like, "You make instant grits?" And he says, "No self-respecting Southerner eats instant grits," which is not true. You know, a lot of self-respecting Southerners eat instant grits because they're just easy. But we do have better product available. This is one of them. I love it. So we just want to stand our little guys up. This is a good sized shrimp here. This is a 21-25. Now what that means is there's between 21 and 25 per pound. So the lower that number goes, the bigger the shrimp are, obviously. So there's 16-20s, there's some that are like 10-15s, and then there's others that are labeled as U10s. And U10s means there's under 10 per pound. It's a little trick when you're doing, when you're plating things up. The eye doesn't like even numbers. So in this case, these shrimp are good size, but I would want more than 5, so I'm going to give them 7, not 6. 6 would look awkward. So stand those up. We want to make sure we get some of this nice vegetable on the top. And then some of this lovely liquid. Little green onions, and that's it. Shrimp and grits. So if you like the recipe that you've seen today, and you didn't get a chance to copy the recipe down, you can find this recipe, others like it, on our website. Or you can, you know, on the website there'll be a link to our YouTube page. You can watch the whole presentation again. But, you know, we hope to be putting a lot of these programs up in the next few weeks, and hope you enjoy the show.
Time now for Trojan Dining Trivia. Troy students can choose from among 5 different serving areas, each catering to different tastes in a comfortable, spacious, and ultra-modern Trojan Dining facility. Can you name all 5? James Quinn will have the answer when Cooking Trojan Style continues.
The warrior spirit, it's in there. Always has been. Now let it out and take the world by fire. Train well and learn what it means to be a Troy Trojan. Walk with confidence, conquer, claim territory, and climb ladders. Know that you have the power to stand alone, but the comfort of knowing that you'll never have to. Discover your inner warrior. Find it at troy.edu/spirit.
So what are the 5 serving areas within Trojan Dining? Director of Operations James Quinn fills us in.
You have the Flying Star, which is going to have your home cooked, your meat and 3. Then you move down the line, and then you have your grilled hamburger, grilled cheese, and your French fries, tater tots, all that good stuff that everybody likes to eat. Wild mushroom is a great concept. It's a full-service salad bar. You can build a great salad there. At one side of that, there's going to be a saute station there when we come back in the new semester, which will saute, you know, shrimp, meats, and everything that you can top your salad off with. But not just the bland lettuce. You know, there's spring mix, spinach, all the exotic salad leaves are there. And it's got a great array of variety. Great salad build. As you move to Bella Torteria, that's what we call the pizzeria side, brick oven pizza, the best pizza you can get anywhere in Alabama, I think, anyway. Down the end of the Bella Torteria, you have the pasta station. Again, 3 different kinds of pasta. There's going to be meats of your choice that can be sauteed into the pasta with sauces, and we'll switch that up. Adjacent to the Bella Torteria is the simple servings, which is fish, meats that's been cooked, which are gluten-free, a lot of gluten-free allergies. And then adjacent to that is the vegetarian side. So if you're a vegetarian, great selection of vegetables and cooked in styles from different countries. You know, one week it could be Indian, another week it could be Greek. So we switch it up like that. And then above Bella Torteria on the next floor is the Mongolian grill, Magellan's we call it, and that also we have certain dishes themed every week of different countries there. So great selection of food.
And on that note, let's mosey on up to Magellan's, where Executive Chef Joseph Vance kicks things off by introducing the hot attraction.
The Mongolian grill. It reaches up to temperatures up to close to 600 degrees. I also have my fry wok on, and that's where I'm going to be deep frying the items that's necessary to deep fry. Now, going into my ingredients. On this end, I have all my vegetables cut up. I have my peppers, broccoli ready to go, julienne onions, tofu is marinating, snow peas, shredded carrots. All my ingredients is here to go. On my sauces, I have my oyster sauce, I have the black bean, chopped garlic, I have the orange, garlic, chili sauce, and my sweet and sour. Now, on my rice, I have two different rices here. I have a basmati and a whole grain. Now, basmati comes from my friends over in India. It's a very flavorful rice. We love it. I cooked it down, and I used a little coconut milk, sesame oil, and a little touch of white pepper. We cooked that down, and if you notice, it has every grain to itself, and that's a good look of good cooked rice. Rice that's not clumped up together, not overcooked, etc. Now, same thing on my whole grain white rice. A little sesame oil, salt and pepper, cook it down, and it is ready to go. Now, going into my ingredients, we have our shrimp. That's going to go with my garlic orange chili shrimp. I have pork for the general toss. Asian pepper steak, and then we're gonna do sweet and sour tofu. All right, so let's get cracking. The first thing I want to do, I want to try to accomplish my probably the hardest task here, and I'm gonna do the pork first. I have my batter. My recipe calls for a crispy batter. Crispy batter has the flour, cornstarch, and a little water just to give it some coating. Now, over here we have a 350 degree fryer going. It's in my wok, so I got everything cooked, warming up, ready to go. And we're gonna go ahead and get that going first. Here I have a little flour, cornstarch, salt and pepper, white pepper. So all I would do is take my cuts of pork, some lean cut pork, and just coat it up. All you have to do is nicely coat it. If you ever see your mom just get in the kitchen and just lightly toss it, you never see the egg batter, you never see things like that. Well, this is all mom's doing. She's coating the pork or chicken and just nicely coat it. And then we're gonna drop it over into our fryer. Now, I'm gonna let that start frying up for us. And while that's going, I'm gonna turn the temperature up just a little more. All right, so that's gonna start cooking. So we're gonna do the General Toss first. We have General Toss sauce. That's ready to go. And I'll start putting the vegetables down first. So we're gonna go, we have our pork loin that's already cut. We have our Asian vegetables, a little fresh garlic, ginger, green onions, and the sauce. All right, so let's go ahead and put a little oil on the grill. Not too much on this grill right here. It gets really hot over here, and a little broccoli, And pretty much this is the same way we do all the vegetables during the school year. So we get that going. And I go ahead and get my water ready, just so we get a little steam action. So our vegetables don't necessarily get burned on the grill. And we put a nice stir fry on it. Maybe just hit it with a little more oil. In the meantime, we check on our pork. See what our pork is doing. I have my spatula ready to go, just to pick it up. And then I'm gonna turn my fire back down a little bit. And then we're ready to get in our vegetables. The pork that's nice and cooked, crispy. And then we get ready for our next item that we'll stir fry. So now, as all the vegetables are getting cooked down, we're getting a nice caramelization going. We get that sugar coming up to the top, getting all that flavor, all that robust flavor going. So as the vegetables are cooking there, then we're getting ready for our sauce. It's a little trick that we learned to do in catering, just so we don't make a mess. Get our skillet, our plate ready, and we'll go with the basmati on the general toss. And there we have it.
Believe me when I tell you that this is delicious. That is absolutely all the time we have for Cooking Trojan Style. Tune in for our next episode to learn how to make some after-dinner sweets, including an item that will probably never be served at Trojan Dining.